During the 2020 presidential election, there was a lot of talk about expanding the courts, specifically the U.S. Supreme Court, obviously, about packing the courts, about getting these pro-consumer judges out there on the benches in order to combat all of the right-wing judges that Donald Trump got through in just 4 short years. Because really, if there is any lasting legacy of the Trump administration, it's his judicial appointments. And no, I'm not the kind of person who only focuses on the Supreme Court, a Supreme Court that hears 150 cases a year. Meanwhile, 25% of the judges at the district level now are Trump appointees, and they're going to hear 40,000 cases per year. So yeah, which one do you think is going to do more damage? So Democrats had talked about packing the courts and expanding the Supreme Court to possibly 13 justices. And I know we're only just now halfway through Biden's first 100 days, but where's this conversation? Okay, we've got the stimulus passed. Sure, we need more, but they're not going to give us more, so they're going to move on to other things. The first thing that needs to be moved on to is packing the damn courts and expanding the Supreme Court. What should be happening, of course, this requires constitutional conventions and all of that, is an amendment to the Constitution placing term limits on federally appointed judges, including those on the U.S. Supreme Court. No person in the United States should be given a job for life, especially one where it is so dang hard to remove them. There have been plenty of instances over the years. In fact, it's one of the features I write about in every issue of the Trial Lawyer magazine about some of the worst judges with the worst conduct here in the United States. Few of them ever even get investigated. And there's hard evidence to show that these people have no business being on the bench, that they're corrupt as hell. But they don't get investigated, so they sure as hell don't get impeached, so they continue serving on the bench because they have these lifetime appointments. That has to stop. The district level, the appellate level, the Supreme Court, none of these individuals should be sitting on those benches until they either die or say, I've had enough. That's not right. We need a steady rotation. We need new faces. We need fresh faces. We need the chance for presidents to be able to put people on the bench because that is their right. But they shouldn't have to wait for somebody to die or retire in order to do that. Term limits would fix that. Term limits would fix a lot of the problems with our judiciary, and it would prevent people like Mitch McConnell from cementing a legacy that is 100% pro-corporation and anti-consumer. Because at the end of the day, that's the goal of these judges they're putting on the benches, right? I hope everybody understands that. The social issues that they talk about during confirmations, where do you stand on abortion, where do you stand on the Voting Rights Act, that's all window dressing. At the end of the day, Republicans are picking judges that they know are going to rule for corporations 9 times out of 10 or more. We're losing our consumer rights. We're losing our consumer protections. Yes, we're losing a lot of civil issues as well. But that's a byproduct. That was never their actual intention. What they want to do is give corporations all the power so that they'll keep funding Republican politicians who can keep packing the benches with more pro-corporate judges, and so on and so forth. Mitch McConnell understands that beautifully, to his credit, and has executed that plan beautifully. Now it's time for Joe Biden and the Democrats to fight back. So I say get busy packing the courts.